Today, I'm going to answer your questions, past, present, future of WWE, about me, myself, my personal life. You can ask anything you want. I put it on the YouTube community tab, and these are the questions. I'll try to go fast so I can answer as many as possible. I'll do this again if you want to ask a question in the future. I don't know when. If you would like me to do this on a monthly basis, let me know. We got Martin Brony, 6898. If you could watch any WWE pay-per-view live, which one would it be? It would probably be Survivor Series 98. Survivor Series 98, that was called, I think, Deadly Games. It was a tournament bracket to crown the champion. This is the height. This is the peak of the Attitude Era, and Stone Cold Steve Austin has lost the title through nefarious means of Mr. McMahon, and The Rock is on the rise as a baby face, right? He just kind of got away from the Nation of Domination, and it looks like Mankind is the appointed corporate champion, but it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse, and it was actually The Rock who was picked by Vince McMahon. We got a Kane versus Undertaker match. I absolutely loved that PLE, and the storytelling was top notch. Vince McMahon was at his worst, which means he was at his best character-wise, and yeah, if I could pick one, that's the one that I would go to and go to live. Ralph Des Boards, sorry, I butchered that name, but which wrestling YouTube content creator inspired you to start WrestleChop? Maybe a Mount Rushmore of sorts. Okay, so great question. There are, I guess there's two kind of wrestling content creators. There's the former wrestlers, and then there's the normal Joes and what's the normal Joe, the equivalent for a female? Jill? The normal Joes and Jills. I would say I do listen to wrestling content creators like Maven, Jim Cornette, Keeping It 100 with Disco and Conan, but I'll stick it to the normal people. Simon Miller. Love Simon Miller. I've been a fan of his for a long time, right? And if you listen on this channel, I'll actually drop Simon Miller stuff here and there. I try to reference that. I got it from him, but I don't always. Positive Pete and Hot WrestleMania, which is SummerSlam. Those are two terms that I stole directly from Simon Miller. Chris Van Vliet, it's almost like Chris Van Vliet is so successful and he gets so many big name wrestlers that you almost forget that he was just a regular fan because he is so successful right now. He feels like he's just part of the WWE machine, to be honest with you. But no, he's just a regular Joe that loves wrestling, and he sits down. He has these really deep dive, deep cut interviews with wrestlers, just so good. And what I like about those two is they're very positive. Yes, they have criticisms, but they don't focus on those, and they try to see what is positive, but they will call out the negative. And then the person that I would say that actually got me started on this WrestleChop journey is Mr. SantiZap. I think people just call him SantiZap right now, but I was listening to the wrestling podcast, right? The wrestling podcast, and then on the sidebar, there would be recommendations, and I saw a recommendation from SantiZap because he puts his whole head in the thumbnail, so I thought to myself, let me click on that because who's this guy? And I just realized this is just a regular dude and not a wrestler, because in my mind I thought only wrestlers could do wrestling podcasts. And so when I saw that guy was doing it, I thought to myself, what if I did this too? Because I actually used to have a video game YouTube channel that completely bombed, but the stuff that Sante did for wrestling is stuff I did for video games. So I thought, well, what if I just did what he was doing? And so I would say that it was SantiZap is the guy that actually made me believe that I could do this. And then I would say WrestleTalk. WrestleTalk is a wrestling news. You get a lot of my wrestling news from WrestleTalk, but they have a host. His name is Ollie Davis. Ollie Davis is so funny, but because he's kind of like within the WrestleTalk umbrella. Not a lot of people probably really know who Ollie Davis is, as opposed to the personality of Simon Miller or SantiZap. But Ollie Davis on WrestleTalk is one of my favorites, and I love his humor. It is so freaking funny, and he does not get the credit he deserves. That's my Mount Rushmore then, I guess, right there. An honorable mention would be Assemble Wrestling. What I like about him is he's not overly negative, but he's willing to criticize. In fact, there's some people that have said me and Assemble are very much alike. Maybe he's like a less caffeinated version of me, more chill version of me. So if I'm just a little too much, because some people, they'll come to this channel and be like, whoa, dude, this guy's a mark, because I get so I get so into it. Then if I'm too much of a mark for you, you might want to go check out Assemble Wrestling. In fact, go check out Assemble Wrestling anyways. I feel that YouTubers are so scared to recommend other YouTubers because they're afraid that they're going to lose the viewers. I'm not. If you find someone else more interesting, then why would I try to handcuff you here? Go, we only live once. Enjoy your life. If you find another content creator more exciting, more awesome, more whatever than me, then go watch him. Check in every once in a while though and see if I got better. So anyways, next question. WrestleCash. I feel like your name is like Gerald or George. Is that close? No, it is not. It is actually Ken. My name is Ken. I was called Kenny growing up, and at some point I just hated Kenny. Oh God, took me forever to cross over to Ken, but low-key, I've always kind of wished people would call me Kenneth. But all that said, I actually hate my name. I hate it. And when I never meant for you guys and gals to start calling me Chop, but when you did, I was just like, oh God, that's so much better. I'm so glad people call me Chop and not Ken. Skywalker asks, favorite belt from any era? Mine's Broken Skull. What? So his is this belt right here. This is the Broken Skull belt. I actually am not a huge fan of this belt, believe it or not. My favorite is the Winged Eagle. And a funny side note is that Kevin Owens recently pointed out to Cody Rhodes that all eagles have wings. So to call it the Winged Eagle is kind of redundant. It's just an eagle. It's just an eagle. And honestly, if you want to win this Winged Eagle or that Stone Cold belt that I showed you, you can. All you got to do is comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, ding, 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 notification. Helps me in my path quest to quit my day job. If you noticed, I've kind of changed that as well, my little saying there, because I felt it was too long and maybe driving viewers away. So there are a little bit of tweaks on this channel that I try here and there to see what works best for engagement overall. The Comic Genius asks, if you were Triple H, how would you book 3 things going into SummerSlam? I would do this. I actually said this in my Saturday Night Main Event prediction, but I would have LA Knight beat Seth Rollins at Saturday Night Main Event, and then Braun Breaker to get really disillusioned with Seth to the point where Seth is like, no, I'll show you, it was a fluke, and LA Knight actually refuses a rematch with Seth Rollins, and Seth is basically begging, doing everything he can until finally he has to put his money in the bank briefcase up to just get a rematch with LA Knight, and he's so desperate because he's trying to prove to Braun Breaker that he is actually worthy of this leadership role within the faction. Then number 2, I'd probably do a double turn. I know a lot of people are saying that that's what should happen, but I agree with that. Let's just do a double turn on Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Bonus points if we can somehow get The Rock to come back, tie that loose end up where Cody says, you know what, I did whatever it took, I sold my soul, now here I am. The third one would be this: whoever Randy Orton fights, probably Drew McIntyre, he's going to lose, right? He loses, he's mad, he's upset, he goes to the back, he opens his dressing room door, and in his dressing room, Karrion Kross, and that's all we see. Karrion Kross just smiling, and that starts the path of Karrion Kross being in Randy Orton's ear. Tiz Mickey asks, oh man, Chop, the one question I wanted to ask, I said nobody can ask me about my hatred of Bill Goldberg. I'm going to reveal that at 50,000. But to be honest with you, straight up, I'm not even joking. It's probably been built up way too high. You're going to be disappointed. There's not anything, it's not even that much of an interesting story. I met Mick Foley, though, in a bathroom once. That story is way more interesting than why I hate Bill Goldberg. But anyways, but of all the years you've been watching wrestling as a wrestling fan, what are your 3 top What are your 3 matches you wish you could watch again for the first time? Excellent question. She says for her, being a new wrestling fan, hers would be Cody versus Seth, Hell in a Cell, the 2022 Men's War Games match. I think that's Bloodline versus, that's the Bloodline versus like Kevin Owens, the Brutes, and Drew. And either Cody versus Roman at Mania 39 or 40. She was in person for 40. Would love to experience that again. Okay, I love that. I love that you're such a new fan, because like those wouldn't be on my list, but being that you only have like a certain amount of years to go off of, it's telling. I do like your perspective as a new fan. It kind of brings me into that new fan mode. First one gotta be WrestleMania 25, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. That is without a doubt my favorite match of all time. Oh my god, I loved that match so freaking much. It was so good, and it was one of the rare times that I was actually watching wrestling with other people, because for the most part throughout my entire life I've not had friends to watch wrestling with. Somehow, some way, I ended up at some party in Detroit where we were watching wrestling, and it was like everybody was just cheering and screaming. I was the only guy rooting for The Undertaker because everybody wanted Shawn to win, but I didn't want the streak to be broken. People were cheering, they were booing, we were on the edge of their seats. I thought that Undertaker had killed himself when he missed that referee spot. So good. So freaking good. Every time I watch it, goosebumps. Undertaker versus Mick Foley, Hell in the Cell. That's the one when he throws him off and when he chokeslams him through. Holy cow. That was like, I didn't know what I was watching. And JR, his commentary, just like, stop the match. Just like, geez Louise. That was just an insane match. That was an insane match. If 2 wrestlers were doing that today, I would be like, please don't ever do that again. Liv Morgan literally just kind of tripped the other day, a week or 2 ago, and her shoulder dislocated to the point that she needed surgery. And Mick Foley is just getting tossed off of 20 feet steel cages and slammed through them. And the dude is wrestling the next night. Like, it's insane how wrestling works. And I'm just like, that match right there was like the craziest thing of the whole entire Attitude Era to me, match-wise. So I would do that one. Now it's tough. Do you take Shawn Michaels' Ric Flair retirement match, the I love you moment? Do you do Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude, the moment I fell in love with wrestling? Hogan versus Warrior, while yeah, it was a stinker of a match, but like, you didn't realize it because you're a kid? And it was just like the top 2 baby faces. Rock Hogan 18. Man, I really like WrestleMania 40 Night 1, that tag team match, because I never thought I would get to see The Rock again. So present day, I'm personally still upset with The Rock for kind of what he did at WrestleMania 41, but I can't deny my feelings towards him for his overall career. And to say that I got to see The Rock again at WrestleMania 40 in a 5-minute match, in a tag team match with Roman Reigns at the peak, Roman at the peak of his stardom, and honestly, the Cody Rock feud was better than the Cody Roman feud, and then Seth doing everything. It's that or Royal Rumble 2020 when Brock Lesnar had a stranglehold of that Royal Rumble. And then Drew McIntyre, Claymore kicked him out. That was such a freaking moment. And then he goes on and wins. The Royal Rumble. Oh, who do I pick? It's between those two. I'm going to go WrestleMania 40. Because WrestleMania 40 was also, the build up to that was actually also one of the reasons why I started this channel. So there's a lot of reasons why WrestleMania 40 is near and dear to my heart. So WrestleMania 40, Night 1, main event, Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody and Seth freaking Rollins. Hunt. Sorry, I know you phonetically spell your name in the group chat, but for some reason, I just forget it all the time. But Chop, what inspires you to work so hard with YouTube? 2 channels now on top of your full-time job, besides wanting to get rid of said job, of course. Yes, getting rid of the job would be great, but in reality, it's that I want to have no regrets. I want to know that if this channel fails, that I did everything I could in order to make it happen. I want to not look back and say, well, what if I had just done more videos? What if I had just done this? What if I had just done that? When I was in high school, I was in love with this girl, right? I was absolutely in love with her, and all the signs were there that she had feelings for me too. But I was so shy. Literally, I was shy. I didn't know how to talk to people back then. I had a very much just like, it was so awkward. I was just so awkwardly shy back then that I couldn't ask her out because I was afraid of rejection. Well, anyways, with a week left of high school, I figured I gotta say something. Or I'll never see her again. So I asked her out. Right? I was like, I told her how I felt. And after I laid it all on the line, she said no. I was like, wait, what? I thought, and the thing was, I had waited 1 week too late. She had started dating somebody else, and that crushed me. It absolutely crushed me, but I promised myself from that point forward, I would never wait. I would just do. I would go, I would make sure that I had no regrets. Because here I am to this day, I still think about her every once in a while, and that's kind of like, I don't know, on some level that's kind of creepy. Like, think about it. It's been like, what, 20 years? And the thing about it is, statistically, there's no way we would have lasted, but the thing is, I never got the chance. Because I personally waited too long, and I regret that. And I promised myself I'll never have a regret again. I will just do. I'll go. I'll give everything my all, and if it fails, it fails. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of not doing anything. And so that's why I work so hard at YouTube. I just don't want to be what if. What if I had asked her out 2 weeks ago? What if I asked her out 8 days ago? What if I had made a Rock Returns video that day? What if that had happened, or that had happened? Like the John Cena, the video that got me like 4,000 subscribers on this channel and got 180,000 views, I almost didn't post it. I almost did not post that video. I didn't think anybody would want to see it. So, yeah, I am not going to live in regrets. That's why I work so hard. Because, I'm hyper-focused on succeeding. Because. Fresh and Fly, TNA is looking for a media rights deal that will pay them $10 million a year. If they get this deal done, on what TV network do you think would be good for them, and on what night? I would say the best night, they're already on it. I think they air on Thursdays. That's the best night in my opinion. And I used to love Thursday night SmackDown, so I would stay on Thursday if possible. And what network? USA would be the best, but I don't know if WWE would allow it, even though they are friendly towards each other, TNA and WWE. But I would say, if not, then really try hard to get on A&E. A&E or... No, I think A&E. A&E has really built up a reputation with, like, The Walking Dead and other shows that, like, I think if they had a wrestling channel right now, it's a really prominent channel. The Amazing Ethan, do you think there is a real-life creative control conflict between Triple H and The Rock, or do you think it's just all fan conjuncture? I think it's real. I really do think it's real. Like, there's no doubt that WrestleMania 41 main event sucked. It just sucked. And I really think The Rock, I don't know what happened. Did The Rock just get mad because he didn't get Cody to turn heel? Is it this? Is it that? Whatever happened, they weren't on the same page. And I bet it was just like one of those things where it's like, fine, whatever. I understand that when you get to those high of levels, there's giant egos, and you almost have to have a giant ego to get to that level. But it's like, come on, guys. Like, nobody's bigger than the business. I don't care who you are. Nobody's bigger than the business. And you could tell that those two, they thought they were. And I think it sucks. I really do think it sucks that those two couldn't get their heads out of their butts and work together to get us a solid PLE. And a lot of people want to blame Triple H. A lot of people want to blame The Rock. I blame them both. Boomer Leo, Chop, I don't have a question about wrestling, just how have you been doing? I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Overall good, no complaints, got a roof over my head, got a shirt on my chest, shirt on my back. Why do you wear shirts on your back? Shirt on my torso. But no, for real though, I am sick, so that sucks. I'm a little bummed because this week I was planning on producing so much wrestling content. I was going to start more videos on the Patreon this week. I was going to do all my videos. I was supposed to do a Rhea Hogan, Becky Hogan, Sammy Hogan video today, actually. I wanted to do 3 videos on the AEW channel, but I got sick. And I barely got this. I'm just so bummed. I had so much I wanted to do. But let that be a lesson to you, boys and gals. If you don't take the time to rest, well, your body, one way or another, will make you take the time to rest. Goat Buggy asks, do you watch anime and cartoons? And if so, what's your favorite? Mine is One Piece and SpongeBob, but old classic episodes, not the new, I think he meant crap, that they have now. And One Piece has always been awesome. I actually, unfortunately, don't watch anime. Anime was something that wasn't readily available to me when I was growing up, and I just always felt so intimidated by it. However, I think I'm going to take the plunge soon, because I've asked a lot of people, where should I start? Most people tell me Dragon Ball Z or One Piece. I'm thinking I'm going to do One Piece. I know it has 1,000 episodes, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. So what do I watch? Well, my favorite TV shows of all time have been The Boys, that's currently on Amazon Prime, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Not just Star Trek as a whole, but Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, for talking cartoons and animes or whatnot, I would say my favorite, what I think is a pitch perfect show, is Avatar: The Last Airbender. From beginning to end, that was such an amazing show. I will also say that currently I like Vox Machina and Invincible. Those are 2 adult shows, though, so please don't show your kids them. They are very adult, for 2 different reasons even, but Invincible and Vox Machina on Amazon Prime, and then another one of my favorite cartoons of all time, Batman the Animated Series and Justice League the Animated Series, but you could also just say the whole DC Animated Universe. Loved that. And you can't go wrong with some good old-fashioned DuckTales. Woo! Okay, we got Ahmed Ryan. A bunch of questions, so we're going to end with him. Next time, maybe only one question, though, but don't worry. We got wrestler who connected with the live crowd very much, but never connected with you, me. I would say Hulk Hogan, and not because it's cool to hate Hulk Hogan nowadays. I never had a problem with Hulk Hogan back in the day, but I did not connect with him. I started at WrestleMania 5, and I was more of an Ultimate Warrior guy. I remember when Earthquake killed him, and I just didn't really care that much. So Hulk Hogan, I would say, never connected with him. After Goldberg, who's the wrestler you hate the second most? Well, I would say Baron Corbin. I know I'm supposed to like Baron Corbin now because he got released, and when a wrestler gets released, you're supposed to pretend that you were always a big fan of theirs, but no, for real, never really enjoyed Baron Corbin, and I know a lot of people do. A lot of wrestlers will even say that Baron Corbin doesn't get the credit he deserves. I just don't like him. I don't hate the guy, though. I don't hate him like Goldberg, though. I do not hate him like Goldberg, but yeah, don't like him. Favorite AEW, TNA, and WCW wrestler, according to their performance in their respective companies. Okay, so AEW, I really do like Christian Cage and his gimmick, and it's so different than his WWE gimmick. I would consider it I would consider them 2 separate beings. So Christian Cage's current gimmick, but I'm really digging Will Ospreay. I'm liking a lot, so I'm going to probably say Will. For TNA, it's probably Joe Hendry. And then because how can you not? How that song's so catchy. But I do like Moose also. Moose is really cool. And then Eric Young, kind of like the embodiment of TNA. But we'll just go Joe Hendry. And then, well, no, you know what? Can I change that? Trick Williams, he's the TNA champion, right? So I should consider him a TNA guy. And WCW, probably Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho in WCW was by far my favorite. And believe it or not, I actually found Disco Inferno hilarious. I actually enjoyed Disco Inferno and Ultimo Dragon 2. About your personal life, your current job, and why you hate it. And about my family. Family's good. My family is, we're Asian. So you ever hear that stereotype that Asian people don't really they're very distant emotionally? That's a true stereotype when it comes to my family. We love each other, but I don't think I've talked to my brother in 20 years. Honestly, when I went and visited him in Thailand, and then my mom, I'll call her up and she'll be like, "What do you want?" And she's not saying that in a mean way. We love each other, but there's just I don't know, Asians, old school Asians, the Asians that got off the boat that had to actually be in the rice paddies. We are very much not a huggy, feely type of people. Don't feel sorry for me or anything. I'm not saying this to get sympathy. It's just, I don't know. It is what it is. It's the life I always knew. So we're good though. We're spread all over the world. I have a sister also. She has 10 kids. I say 10 kids because she's always popping out another one. So who knows at this point? What day is it? Oh, my job? You know why I hate my job? Honestly, I used to love this job, but it got taken over by a corporation. A corporation took over and they tried to start squeezing everything they could. They want to cut labor. They want to cut overtime. They want to do this. They want to do that. They just, they don't want to hire people for what they're worth. They don't want to do anything. And it's just so disheartening. And then they claim that they're a family first company and all this stuff. It's just man, just tell me you're all about the money. Don't sit here and lie to me and tell me that you're about the people and then you go and do this. All they do is just it's kind of like what's happening to WWE right now, where it's they're taking the soul out of WWE with all the advertisements and stuff. Well, that's what happened to my company and my restaurant. So I gotta go. I don't thrive in those environments because I actually will speak up my mind. My thing is, I'm all about my people, my staff, and I will make sure I will stick up for my staff to the point that it will hurt my career. Because because they want a yes man, and I'm not a yes man. If they say, "Oh, is there any issues?" I'll be like, "Yeah, there's issues." So it's time for me to leave. Next question: do you watch football or soccer? If yes, if so, who's your favorite player? Sorry, I only watch real sports like professional wrestling. And a Hollywood classic that you think is overrated. Ooh, you're gonna get me in trouble for this one, but it's kind of fitting. Oh God, this is sacrilege, but Superman. The first Superman with Christopher Reeves and Superman number 2 as well. At number 3 and 4, everybody realizes that it's really campy. But I know it's the first real superhero movie that took the world by storm and all these things. But if you look at it from a very objective standpoint, Superman literally spins around circles around the world so fast that the world starts to turn, and that creates time travel. That makes no sense whatsoever. I know it's a product of its time. And stuff like that. But for real, I watched that movie and I'm like, wait, what? It's not. It's not good. It's not good to me. And Superman 2, do you remember that scene? They're in the Fortress of Solitude. Superman literally pulls something off his S and he throws it on the Phantom Zone villains, Zod and his crew, and all it does is it gets on them, it stops them for half a second, and then they get up and they start fighting again. It's what are we doing here? So I'm so sorry. I'm actually gonna go see Superman tonight. I'm a huge Superman fan, and I'm seeing it tonight. So I'm really hoping that it's not like that. And what's crazy is everybody refers to that. All the filmmakers refer to that movie as their inspiration for Superman. In fact, Kevin Feige actually watches that movie before he does a superhero movie. And to me, I'm just ugh. So, like, I can appreciate it because it was the first big budget superhero movie of all time. But if we look at it objectively, I think it's a little overrated, but I'm glad it's there because everybody else likes it. I'm cool with not talking smack about it. But you asked, and tonight I can't wait to see what they were actually able to accomplish nowadays. All right, so there you go. There's your WrestleChop session. Let me know if you liked these. I'll do more Q&As if this is something that you want on this channel. Boys, girls, have yourself a great super day.